All right, let's get to know each other. You brand spanking new. You've been around for 20 plus years. You somewhere sandwiched in between there. And do you have federal contracts now? Either direct federal contracts or grants. Grants are actually contracts too. I don't see Denise B. Lars here today yet. That's all right. All right. Have you ever been to a GovBrief session? If you have, let us know. If you're not, if this is your first time, we always love to welcome the first timers as well. I know there's at least one first timer who is putting me through the ringer. Let me see if I can find. I need to find him. It's Najib, I think. Hang on a second. I don't see him here yet. I don't know. He's putting me through the ringer. He said, "I want to hear one of your sessions before I pay for one." That's what he said, Ralph. I said, "Come to this one." Is this free?
What?
This is free.
Seriously?
All right. Set up for today for you, everybody here. Let's see who we have as our panelists. You never know who you're going to get because the box of chocolates, right, Rafa? We have Rafael Marrero. All right, so we are in Q4. What does that mean, Rafa?
It means use it or lose it, year-end spending frenzy. And there are funds that must be obligated, must be spent. So what this means for you is you get one last chance to go into, David, I'm going to say this, your DSBS profile, which is now small business profile, right? Okay. To update it, give your SAM profile one final spit shine and take a look at your comms, right? Take a look at your marketing assets, your capability statement. Are you using the right words? Are you emphasizing?
We're going to answer that question next. That's not don't go to the hot seat questions yet. That's what happens when I preface things with a hot seat question. So, all right, we'll get it. We'll get it. We're going to talk about some advice. You already got some teasers there for what Rafa's going to talk about. Todd Green, what does Q4 mean?
Q4 means like everyone else is saying that they've got money they got to spend, right? Yeah. I know we've been talking about rescissions, packages, and Doge cuts and everything else, but at the end of the day, there's still money on their budget, and they need to get that spent.
No doubt about it. Nikita Van Kirk, what do you have to say?
I am reading the chat, and Rashid has a great question that kind of wets everyone's whistle. Dave, you want to read it out?
All right, you go ahead. Go ahead and read it.
I'm here with the intention of asking a question. If you anticipate a higher number of direct awards this fiscal year as an easy button because of the controlled spending throughout the year, or if you think that for the first time, agencies will be turning money to the Treasury as saving under the new administration.
Ooh.
This is a great question.
That's a great question, Sharif. Hold that thought, because we might turn that into hot seat question number 3. How about that, guys? You go with that? I love that. Keep that. Love that. Awesome. So what does Q4 mean to you, Nikita?
Q4 means to me that it's our opportunity to strive to make connections and make contacts and keep pushing. That funding, like Rafa said, is going to expire, and we want to make sure we utilize it so it's not lost. But we also want to look forward to the next year too. We always want to keep looking towards the future as well as the present.
All right, I love it. Nora Pashore just popped up. Nora, put your camera on so we can see you. There she is. What's Q4 mean to you?
Money coming down the pike. Lots of proposals going to get written.
That's right. A lot of proposals, right? A lot of activity, right?
Yes.
Peter Timbus, you back in the house, or did you vacate? Is Peter back? All right. Peter will be back in a little bit. All right. So I agree with everybody. I think that the number one word is activity for me. That's what it means to me. Tons of activity. And for those of you who've been here before, you know that 11 months out of the year, I'm talking about building relationships, just like Nikita was talking about. And I'm all about getting ahead of the RFP, making sure that we're sewing that, getting our grubby little fingerprints all over it. Right, Todd Crane? Right?
Absolutely.
But when we get to September 1st, all the work that we've done for 11 months is done, and we have to be paying attention to activity. Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Love it. All right, so let's go to the hot seat questions, which Rafael already jumped into.
Jeez.
Hold on. All right, so the hot seat questions are, what do contractors need to do to win in Q4, and how do you maximize your chance of winning? Everybody got that? I don't know if you saw that one, Nora, and I know, Nikita, you didn't see it. So get that kind of digested. What contractors need to do to win in Q4, and how do you maximize your chance of winning? Okay, everybody good with that? All right, so let me go through the paperwork here. Disclaimer for industry people: this does not. First of all, we're not affiliated with any agency, and it's provided to you for informational purposes only. It does not guarantee a contract award. I know that's shocking to everybody here. And if you're a Govy, we love Govies. And if you're a Govy, this gives you the ability to talk with us because it's not an endorsement or commitment to purchase from any vendor. All that comes from GSA, as a matter of fact, for GovBrief. If you have any questions, raise your hand, put it in the Q&A. Make sure that you're communicating with us. We're going to get some feedback from you. We love the reactions. If you like what you hear, give a thumbs up. If you don't like what you hear, throw something at Raphael. So we will be connecting you with experts. Experts today, we have Raphael Marrero, Todd Crane, Peter Timbus, Nikita Van Kirk, Nora Bashor, and myself. And we do shameless plugs, don't we, Todd?
What?
Yeah.
No
shameless
way.
Plugs. To our sponsors and our partners, sponsor being samradar.com, shameless plug number one. Samradar.com. If you don't know about them, you will by the end of the day. I promise, or the end of this hour. And shameless plug for me today at 1 p.m. I'll be talking about the opportunity tutorial at sam.gov. I do this monthly, right after this session every month, usually anyway, if it all works out. And then I also want to do a shameless plug to Raphael Marrero, who is going to be talking about the GovCon Branding Lab, adapting your business to the federal changes, including Doge. Right, Rafa?
That's right.
Yep.
I will help you with your get out of Doge card. Show up for this one.
That's right. So that'll be Thursday at 2 p.m. So today at 1 p.m. with me, Thursday at 2 p.m. with Rafa, because we can't do this alone. We need people like Nora. We need people like Todd. We need people like Peter and Rafa and Nikita and obviously Sam Radar, my companies that I do, right? All right, so we've been talking about Q4. We're in Q4. What does this mean? That means we have 49 days left before September 30th. What has to happen by September 30th, Nora Bashor?
They need to spend down all of it.
All their money. And Mo Sharif is asking the question here, which is, will they be returning money to the Treasury as savings instead of spending? It's the first time that might happen. We don't know, do we? Anybody know? I don't know. Does anybody know?
Actually, there are some funds that have been, especially in the case of the USAID and other agencies. So yeah, there will be some of that. Yeah.
Yep. So we see this. Go ahead.
Really, with the spend it or use it or lose it kind of mentality, that's not just a government thing. That's an overall broader accounting principle, and so it's not just something that they can just suspend willy nilly. So they got to go through the process, and if you don't use it this year, you're gonna hurt next year.
And that's the way it's always been built, right? So so we see that, and Doge is reviewing all the contract actions. I don't know if anybody heard about that, but they're reviewing all contract actions, including ones that were already awarded. Some of those have been removed. We'll talk about that in a second. Transition contracts to GSA. They're taking all the contracting officers that they possibly can and transferring them over to GSA to manage the contracts for every agency. This is new. This is definitely new. There's new FAR regulations that are being written as we speak. We have seen a contract and grant shakeup. So we've seen things happen because of Doge. 31,000 plus contracts have been terminated since January 20th.
What happened on January 20th?
I don't know. What happened? What happened, Peter Timbus? Anything happened? I don't know. No changes. Everything's just normal, right, Peter?
Yeah, we had a change of administrations.
We did indeed. We also see stop orders that don't show up as contracts terminated in 20 billion plus. A lot of the federal employees are kind of spooked. We can leverage that. We'll talk about a little bit about that in a couple minutes, maybe. And we have seen spending 2.6 million contracts worth $262 billion. Now, you might be saying, where are you getting this data? I'll show you in a couple minutes. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is the importance of real-time monitoring. I believe that this is important for answering the question number one. So this is a setup for question number one, because 97% are not hitting SAM.gov. What do you mean, Dave? That's right. 97% are not hitting the street, not hitting GSA, not hitting SAM.gov. And because these federal agencies are dealing with this change and they have to show progress to keep their jobs, this is all brand new. So we can see this shift. We see the shift happening with termination for convenience and such. All these are going to be in your session docs. Hold on one sec. Let me grab those session docs for you. I forgot that I was doing this.
You forget your red stapler?
Let me get the session docs and put them in here. All right, here's the session docs for today. Do me a favor, click that and give me a thumbs up if you get to this and it looks like that. Can you get to this? Everybody thumbs up if you can get to this. Need to make sure, because if you can't, we'll figure out a way. Then what I want you, there we go. What I want you to do is hit this download button, and that download will put that in a zip folder so you have all the docs. Sound good? We're going to be reviewing these in just a minute. Cool. We'll talk about some of that activity. You can get those session docs. They're in your chat. In the handouts, you will see the presentation. You'll have a copy of the winnable opportunity matrix. We'll talk a little bit about that. The spending reports, which is the ones from since 120 is in there. We'll talk about that. In fact, I'm going to talk about the spending report right now. This happens to be for 2024 for the spending report. All of these are in relation. They're coming from two different sources. SAM.gov, that's a government system, right, Rafa? SAM.gov, government system.
So far.
And FPDS, which is also a government system. SAM.gov is where you see opportunities. FPDS is where you see contract awards, right? And contract actions. And take a look at this. We're talking about number of offers received. Everybody gets this, right? You're not getting the URL? Hang on a second. Let me repaste that for you. That top URL. Does that resolve for you? I don't know what R. Oh, man. Doctor. The doctor is here, not you, Dr. Raphael.
And real quick, we're still having some issues with the quick reference sheet. If you try to open that up individually, it's not working right. But if you download the entire folder as a zip, it'll work perfectly fine.
All right, so there you go. So that's what you want to do. Hit this download, boom. Download it as a zip file. Cool? All right, just want to make sure. All right, getting back to this. Everybody understands, right, the number of offers received, right, Nora? Somebody puts something out, they have offers that they receive, the government receives, right, Nora? So this is rated between either not reported, which means 1, or up to 5, and then more than 5. And I'll tell you why I do this. So first things first, in 2024, 81% of the contracts either were not reported or 1, and not reported. If you ask any contracting officers, say most of the time they just didn't hit the 1. Don't ask me why, but they don't. So 81% of the contracts and 60% of the dollars, read that word. What does that mean? Nobody else. That means only one response. 81% of the contracts. So that goes to the question that Musharif said, do you anticipate a higher number of direct awards this fiscal year? Boom, this is it. And we'll take a look at the new numbers too, okay? Musharif, this was unprecedented. In 2019, it was about 36 to 39%. Now let's take a look at this. 5 or fewer contracts, 90% of the contracts, 93% of the dollars shortlisted. Thumbs up if you agree with me that you want to be one of the 5 that are being sought after to respond to something. You want to be included on a short list. Thumbs up if that's you. Everybody better answer that question because that's exactly why we're here. This is also unprecedented. So the delta, let's take a look at the delta between what hit SAM.gov, 143,000 and change hit, but we had over 7.75 million contracts, ladies and gentlemen, that were awarded in fiscal year 2024, where the delta is, you got to love that, Peter Timbus. That's my Greek. That red triangle. You like that?
Yep.
7.1 million contracts. So my next one, I'm going to end this poll. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Did you know about the 98%? Yes, and you want some? Well, you knew something was missing, but you didn't think it was 98%, but you still want some. Or maybe this is the first time you're hearing about the 98% and you want some, or maybe you don't believe me. Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe you don't believe that there's 98% that aren't hitting sam.gov. That's why I gave you the reports that are in here. And I'll tell you, this is still happening right now. Right now. This is where we are right now. 79,000 and change, almost 80,000 hit sam.gov since 120. But this is what it looks like. 69% of the contracts, 60% of the dollars. That's not right. 69% is not right. I'd change those. Let's do the math right now. 64 plus 12.
76.
What is that? 80.
76.
80%. So this is actually 80%. I'm going to change this right this minute. Hold on. I'm going to pause this screen and I'm going to make the changes appropriately so that this is right. I didn't change this number. So it's 80% of the dollars. 80% of the dollars. 80% of the contracts, 60% of the dollars, and then for the rest of it, it is 86% and 93% of the dollars. So this is adjusted now. So this is right. So 80% of the contracts, 60% of the dollars, 86% of the contracts shortlisted. Oh, hold on. I got to share this.
No,
There you go. 86%. Here we go. It's 80% of the contracts for one, and it's 86% of the contracts for the rest, right? That's right. 14% left over. All right. So in your handouts, you will also see the winnable opportunity matrix. We're going to be talking about this right here. I'm talking about this section. Why? Because we need to monitor real time because 79% is still not hitting sam.gov according to right now. And those numbers are going to change because Todd Crane, you know this, the DOD numbers don't even hit FPDS for 90 days.
Yeah, they don't want to give the Russians too much information, or the
That's right.
Chinese.
Yep. And this is why we have to monitor all the contract activity so we can do what? So we can engage, so that we can build relationships. Nora, how important are relationships when you're dealing with federal government?
Not at all.
She's being facetious.
Yes.
So it is. So that's exactly right. So as we go, we want to influence the acquisition process. That means getting our fingerprints on the scope of work, right, Todd Crane?
Absolutely, all over it. Like Cheeto dust.
All over it. And then we want to make sure that we're also pointing them towards the right direction of how they can do the procurement, right? Right, Rafael Marrero?
That's right.
We can influence how they're procuring it.
Yep. And the strategy.
The whole thing. So that we can ultimately push our competitors away. The incumbents are doing this right now, by the way. The incumbents are pushing you away. They're carving out the moat around their castle right now. But so that we can win. And the question is, so we can win what? So we can win some of these shortlisted contracts, which is exactly why we got to get to the contracting officers, right? Right, Rafa? We got to get to them.
That's right.
And I will humbly say, go to samradar.com, enter 10% attendee, and you get 10% off for the first 3 months. All right, that's our setup.
That'll show us how to get in touch with these contractors or these buyers.
Not only that, we'll guarantee you'll win. How about that? This session doesn't guarantee you'll win, but you do this right on Sam Radar and you will win. Guarantee it. All right, I'm going to end this poll real quick, and we're going to see this. Look at this. I've never seen this before. 33% across the board. 33% they knew 98% were there and they want some. 33% said they knew we were missing something. And then 33% didn't know about it. So it's the first time you're hearing it. So first things first, go to www.samradar.com. Go there and then do 10% attendee. Sign up. It's a 7-day trial. So you can sign up. You can see how the system works. And here's my first question here. Hot seat question. What do contractors need to do to win in Q4? That's the first question.
Real quick, Dave, I'm just surprised that nobody said they didn't believe you.
I can't believe that. That is crazy. I agree.
I tell them late at night. Right? No way.
Apparently, I'm a believable guy today. Todd. All right. So what do contractors need to do for Q4? And I look at this as the tree that the federal government has, so money can just come out of that tree. So my question before we start, when we're looking at things, if we're not looking right, we're going to miss something. So I got a question. Put it in the chat. What did you see first? The tree, the gorilla, the lion, or the fish? What do you think of that? How do you like that setup, Peter Timbers?
That's good.
I love
2
it.
and 3 at the same time. You saw the gorilla and the lion first. Love that, Sydney. Wesley saw the lion. Who else? Anybody got anything else that they saw?
I saw
Three,
the
number
lion
one,
always
tree.
on the prowl.
You saw the gorilla. You saw the lion. Love it. So this goes to if we're looking.
Somebody said, where the hell is the fish?
What's that?
The fish are at the bottom.
The fish are at the bottom. See
Yeah.
the fish? Now you can't not see it, right? Once you see it, you can't not see it.
That's funny.
Right? So the reason why I'm saying this is that if we're not looking in the right places, we'll miss it. And there are things that are right in our face, including the fish now, right? Most folks see the tree because it's a tree, right? You've seen the tree. And then you see the leaves falling from the tree and so, oh, that's a gorilla, that's a lion. And then I don't know where they got the idea for the fish, but I just love the idea that if we're looking for the fish, we can see the fish. Everybody right? Everybody sees a fish now?
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to throw that out first to you, Rafael Marrero. And let me give a little dose of Rafael Marrero, right? You do branding for government contractors. What does that mean?
That means representing them and coming out with the best version of them to present to the buyers and to the decision makers in government. Many times, the terminology that we see or the presentation is far too technical, far too dense, far too verbose. And when you're dealing with government buyers, you're looking at short attention span. You're looking at one duck, one bunny per slide, not all these different bullet points that people want to cram in there. You need to look your best and bring your A game to the table. I help you do that. I help you boil it down into words and phrases that they understand, because I not only do marketing, I'm also a former chief procurement officer for a very large publicly traded company. And so because of that, I understand what it means to be looking from the other side when you're looking for prospects and vendors. So I look at it with my marketing hat, and I also look at it from a business process perspective in terms of supply chain. Is this person going to be riskier for me, less risk? Am I going to be able to get what I need to accomplish my mission, or am I gambling my reputation on this newbie? Those are the things that I look at, and looking at it from their perspective, because I've been there, and looking at it from the marketing perspective. That's what I.
So for you already mentioned some of this as a teaser.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a couple things that you threw out there. DSBS. What is DSBS?
Well, it was called Dynamic Small Business Search. Now it's known as Small Business Search, right? They're repackaging it under SAM.gov, and your DSBS profile now shows up in your in SAM.gov. So, and you can download it, by the way, on a PDF. It looks a lot better now than it did before, because before it wasn't as user-friendly and intuitive, but there was a lot of good data there. Anyway, your profile is there, right? So think of DSBS as your vendor credit file, if you will, right? This is your reputation. This is the way you're perceived by federal buyers, right? Now that they're looking in SAM, they're going to be able to see if you're certified or not, right? Single version of the truth. What your SBA certs are. They're also including in there like all of your terminal, all of your technical data. I'm sorry. And it's all going to be there present in one single window. It's very interesting the way they're presenting it. So this is the way you look to them when they look you up in the system. You need to make sure that you stand out in this very, very competitive and highly crowded marketplace, especially now when people are struggling and fighting for dollars. You need to look your best. You need to bring your A game. That's where we come in.
Excellent. So we ought to do a briefing on this DSBS change thing because I didn't even know.
David, can
about
I just add? Could I
Go-
just add one thing?
Go ahead,
You know,
Peter.
you're going to be doing business with the biggest buyer in the United States. You got to look the part.
That's right.
I've got a couple of Raphael's current clients that he prepared for business. We're providing the financing, and they're becoming very successful. But that first step was getting the part looking like you can do business with the federal government, and that's what Raphael did with these clients.
I couldn't agree more. You got to look like you belong. And I do want to talk about what you do in context of the second question, Peter, because I feel like you fit it right in with the second question that we have today. But Peter Timmis helps folks with financing, understands that world, right, Peter? A lot of banks don't even understand the federal world.
One of the things I wanted to bring up when you were talking about being proactive and being on the short list, a lot of people will look at that. Yeah, okay, if I'm proactive and I get on the short list, but what if I win this contract? I don't have a big enough line of credit, or I don't have the capital or the reserves to perform on that. We take that all away.
Mm-hmm.
So, because many of our clients will say to us, and we have over 300 clients nationally, they'll say to us, boy, I wish I had known about you 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 3 years ago, because instead of me doing X, I'd be doing X plus Y, because we lend to the opportunity. So do not let your lack of resources prohibit you from being proactive or working with Raphael, going after those opportunities, because we will lend to that opportunity regardless of what your financial statements look like. We do look at your financial statements, but we will lend to your opportunity. I can't stress enough what a game changer that is for government, state contractors, local government. It's a big game changer for our clientele.
I agree entirely. So I love that. So being prepared, like with Rafa's information, that's what contractors can do, as well as making sure they're shoring up their finances. Nora, you do a lot of work with folks and helping folks. You've written a lot of RFPs in your day. And won a lot of RFPs, by the way. So and now you work with Voltron. Voltron does helps write proposals with AI. So what do you recommend for the folks here of what they should be doing? What do contractors need to do to win in Q4?
I'll answer. That's a good question. I'll answer from the perspective of kind of using AI for RFP and other proposals. If you've got a system that you've been using that's AI based, keep using it. Wait until this kind of tsunami of opportunity dies down a little bit. If you just recently bought something and now you want to respond and increase your volume of responses, pick a few features out there that won't be hard for you to learn, that are easy to implement, and just get your responses out the door, because that's the most important thing. And then again, after the tsunami is over, you can take a little bit more time and learn the rest of the features. And I would say that just be sure you've got your marketing materials and other things like that set, because we're seeing a lot of opportunities come down the pike that are not on sam.gov in a variety of different ways. And so you need to be ready to pitch. You can use your AI tools to help you do that as well. So just kind of keep that in mind for a broader perspective.
And if you're not sure what to use for AI, I highly encourage, there's an on-demand version of what you just did a couple weeks ago, right, Nora?
Yes.
Which is evaluating AI for RFP proposal writing. So if you're not familiar with it yet, she goes through the front end part. She calls it left of proposal. That means before it even becomes an RFP, right?
Yes, as we know, that's the most important part. And everything you do left of proposal, you want to push through proposal and make sure that information is communicated clearly. So that webinar we put together will help give you actual checklists that you can use in demos when you're testing systems. So you make sure that you're not just focused on the product and the features, but what you need to do as an organization left a proposal and how to pull it through.
So Nikita, I'm going to turn to you now because Nikita, she just did one on GovBrief on bid and award protest. Was absolutely great. This was from a kind of do-it-yourselfer because you're not a lawyer, right, Nikita?
Not at all.
But you've submitted 3. Well, maybe you submitted 4 now, right? And you're still waiting on one?
No, I've only done 3. We succeeded once, and we had a learning experience with the other 2. And I'm happy to share the knowledge that we've had and we've learned. And one of the things that most people don't know about is pre-award protests and how you can actually do that before it's ever awarded. So you have a higher success of changing the tide in your favor.
Love it. And I'll show you.
I need to speak to you. I've got a lead.
So there you go. So bid and award protest, you can find that on GovBrief. And this kind of dovetails, or at least goes right on the coattails of what Nora just said. What your recommendation for contractors is what, Nikita? Because you are a contractor, right? That's what you do.
Absolutely. So
and you want people to do what?
I want people to bid on everything.
Bid on everything.
Even if it's outside of your class, there's a little known FAR clause that we actually discussed in that. That's bid FAR 19, which is an automatic dissolution of a small business set aside or a dissolution of a set aside, that if they don't get the rule of 2 awarded and someone else has a very competitive bid, they can make the internal decision for someone who did bid outside of the award option, instead of republishing the solicitation, to actually award it without delaying the award any further.
I love that. So your advice is bid on everything. Nora's advice is get the bids out. Peter, your advice is to make sure that you're prepared and you have the financial wherewithal. Raphael, your advice is to make sure you look good on SAM.gov and DSPS, right?
Well, look good and are compliant with procurement readiness. That's very important. It's not just looking the part. You need to pass. It's not fake it till you make it, guys.
That's right.
Not only put makeup or lipstick on the pig. We gotta do a do-over. We do it. Makeover.
And we'll talk about that. We got some good questions in here too. Great stuff, Rafa. Love it. Robert, you have your hand raised. That's because you're waving high, or you got something you want to ask?
David, in follow up to what Nora just said, we can also give you a letter of financial support.
Yep.
So you can bid on a contract, and our letter of financial support will check that financial responsibility box with the contracting officer to tell them, should they award the contract to you, that we will be there financially to support you on that contract. And we're having a ton of activity with clients getting our letters of support to get on the GSA schedule.
That's true too.
And for the 8A certification as well, Peter. And I need to vouch for that, Dave, because I've seen how Peter has helped our clients when they're applying for a federal certification. Having meeting the financial conditions is one of the 5 core things that they look at. And thanks to you, Peter, my clients have been able to do that. So thank you for that.
Love it.
Thank you.
Peter, you need to do one thing. Shut your blinds or open your blinds. Because you look
I thought he was like glowing, like
straight face, man.
I thought he was just glowing with knowledge.
There it is. All right. Peter Timbers being the man with the striped face.
How's that?
Striped pajamas.
There we go.
All right.
How's that?
Who's that
Much better, man. Much better. Todd Crane, you help folks with their cybersecurity things, which is important for a lot of federal contractors. Obviously, if you're in defense industrial base for CMMC. For those of you who are in the defense industrial base, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not in the defense industrial base, you will find out that the CMMC components are going to be coming your way in the civilian agencies as well to help try to protect the federal government systems, right? Right, Todd?
Absolutely. Cybersecurity is not going away.
That's a fact. So, and that's what you do. So you can help folks with that. But tell us what your advice would be for what contractors need to do in Q4.
I mean, I got to double down on my main man, Rafa over here. You know, so you look at your capability statement, that's your resume, right?
Mhm.
If you go too far into the weeds or whatever, it's like, you see these like college fairs, whatever, people have their resumes and it's all wrong. They don't focus on what the hiring manager needs to see. Well, so many people don't focus on what the buyer needs to see, the contracting officer. And I actually heard a couple months ago, I heard this crazy statistic that of the people that have capability statements on their DSBS or now SBS, I guess, their profile, only half of them actually work.
Yeah.
And that's not including the other people that don't. The all the prime. It's not just the government buyers that are looking through this thing. It's all of the main primes as well. They have a certain amount of small business that they got to put on each of these contracts. They got to bring in subcontractors and everything else. Where do you think they're looking for people? They're not flipping through the white pages or the yellow pages.
How many people don't even know what yellow pages are?
I do.
I do. I do. I know it. I know what a phone that has a dialer that works like this is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all right. I love that, Todd. Great stuff. Appreciate that. And I'll just reiterate from my perspective that yes, you want to look like you belong. Number two, you want to be proactive going out after those folks. Don't wait for them. Do not wait for anything. You go and I love what Nikita said, as well as Nora. Bid on those things, and then get the feedback. Right, Nikita. You got to get the feedback from them. Use your
debriefing requests.
Yep.
But I have a little, Michael, I love your question. Our product is an alternative that is not in the scope. Should we bid anyways? What I love to do with these types of bids is I ask them, would you consider adding this to the bid prior to the question period ending? Because they can add items in. You see amendments to solicitations all the time. If it is something that they did not consider that could be useful, and you can get what they consider a partial award, so it's split between you and another company, that is still a win. Or you could get them to consider it and they could issue a solicitation completely separate for something that is an alternative not within the scope. Or when you see those, ask them.
Or you can say, they may say, I say, would you like an unsolicited proposal for that? My stuff's not in there. My approach isn't this way. Would you like an unsolicited proposal? In which case their head could explode, or they could say, sure.
And I think Nikita kind of brushed on a big point, is that all the Q&A, all of that stuff, that's all binding. It's all part of the official solicitation. Yep. And so once the solicitation, the RFP, whatever it is out, doesn't mean everything's done.
Nope.
You can still change
not at all.
You can still get your fingerprints on it. And as Nikita mentions, and she did a GovBrief, I believe, on this, is even if it's there in black and white, you can still get it changed through a protest.
Absolutely. If you believe that there's a difference. I had someone who, after the bid and protest, actually reached out and they said, we want to reverse a sole source. And I'm helping him through reversing a sole source set aside because they have a comparable product and they have the contracts to actually back it up, and they were able to get it reversed.
I love that. Love
on
that.
everything.
If you
love that,
that's impressive.
Love that. All right, Charles says, I'm finding the service-related information very helpful. What are your thoughts on primarily supply products? Charles works the same way. Get your fingerprints on it. Products can be spec'd in. Product by OEM. You're seeing that a lot, right, Charles? You'll see, hey, this is OEM. That's called spec making. And then, just like Nikita just said, if you say, hey, I can do the same thing, but this spec is really tight, you're spec breaking. You can be spec making, you can be spec breaking. Same thing applies. Products and services operate very similarly. All right.
And the other piece to this that we haven't talked about is, what do you do outside of a contract? You can do a P card purchase. P card purchase under $25,000. Nothing ever actually hits sam.gov.
That's correct.
You have the limitations for P card purchases that in your industry, Obviously, for service, it's 25,000 up to 10,000, which they're trying to get changed. Which we
2,500.
had a briefing on a Monday roundtable about that,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
They're talking about changing the micro purchase to $100,000.
Yep, over the next 5 years.
Holy cow.
But that's what I'm saying. If you know the limitations within it, you can go to them and say, hey, we don't have to do a contract. We can do a P card purchase. And guess what? Nobody else has to know about the P card purchases then. It's direct to you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. That's the end of hot seat question number 1. And remember, I just said, what did you see first? You either saw the tree, the gorilla, the lion, or the fish. My question for you is, did you see these? Did you see the 17,588 sources sought in pre-solicitations? That is left of proposal, right, Nora? That means that they're asking questions before they're saying, can anybody supply us with these? And then, did you see the 2.6 million contracts? Many of these in your space. That's why you need real-time monitoring. When real-time monitoring happens on samradar.com, because 97% right now, bet you by golly that hits 98% by the time we're done at this end of this fiscal year. And
Dave,
yes, sir.
Well, we were talking about at the beginning of the fiscal year about how all those sources sought turned into, direct awards.
Yes, they did.
So it's always important to respond to those, because they might just said, we don't want to go through the whole process. Here you go. Here's a contract for your services.
I love the way you're thinking. I love the way you're thinking. All right. So let me know what you want to monitor on because we'll talk about that some more. Because if you want to do it yourself, join me today on GovBrief for sam.gov opportunity tutorial. You can find that right here on the upcoming briefings. It is right here, which I will pop into the chat for everyone. If you would like to show up for the sam.gov tutorial, I'll pop that in right there. That is if you want to do it yourself. And here's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. If we are not relevant by default, what are we? Put it in the chat for me. By default, if we're not relevant, we are what?
Dog food.
They're dog food. Anybody got the word for me? Let me know what you think. That's it, Nikita Van Kirk. Irrelevant, that's right. And think about it this way. If you have not made yourself relevant yet with your capability statement, with your proactive approach to reaching out to people, the phone that's not ringing right now is the government not calling you. They're not going to call you. You got to go out after them. So hot seat question number 2, how do we maximize our chance of winning? I'm going to reach out first of all to Nikita. Go ahead, Nikita. What do you got for quick answer for how do you maximize your chance of winning right now?
Come on, you have to do quick answer. I got so much. No, honestly, you maximize your chance of winning by bidding on everything, by opening that communication, by being present and being at their desk. You talk to them, you email them, you pick up the phone and you call them. They have their phone numbers listed. What's the harm?
Love that. Love that. So there's another part we'll talk about in just a second with the prime side of things. And Peter, you mentioned this before, being financially viable. You can win a $10 million contract if you're a $1 million company, can't you, Peter?
I just had a $1 million company with our help win a $30 million 5-year award.
Whew.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. So Todd Crane, what do you recommend? How do people maximize their ability to win in Q4?
Well, so I think the one thing we haven't mentioned yet, normally she's a staple here, but Sally White, she has a great, she's really great about getting you in front of the right people. You want to learn how to, either work a trade show floor and have her help you with that. Or if you want to actually sit down with some of these, VIPs, either pick their brain or start, developing relationships. When especially these buyers, when they next month they're going to have a hard time getting all these RFPs out. They're going to want help with, okay, how do we word this? How do we do that? It would be great if you're the one in their ear, tailoring it just so. Yeah, Nikita will try and do a protest on it, but we want our fingerprints. We don't want everyone else's fingerprints on it. We want our fingerprints on every single one of these.
Could not agree more. Could not agree more
And,
about
hey,
that.
David, let me add one thing about before you move on from Sally White. I've been working with Sally for 4 years. She does a lot of our marketing, and she is fantastic. I take her to all our conferences, and we usually have a booth at conferences, and she lassos people.
Yes, she does that.
Lassos people and brings them to our booth. And we were at the Hub Zone conference 3 weeks ago, and she lassoed a company that wasn't going to stop by our booth, that stopped by our booth, and they are a $20 million plus company, and we're going to probably be putting in a $5 million facility for that company.
I
With
love
not only
that.
what they've currently got, but lending. So she's excellent at what she does.
She is. She
And-
is super excellent. You'll meet Sally.
She's at a conference right now, actually.
Oh, she is
doing the
She's
exact same
She's on
thing.
site. A lot of times she reports in from being on site. So Rafael Marrero, let's talk about this because I think that there's pieces in here that directly apply to and to what you're going to be talking about on Thursday.
Yep.
So to maximize your chance of winning, we want to use terms that the government wants to see and not terms that the government doesn't want to see, right?
Correct. And you want to present a structured, measured approach to your marketing communications. You just don't want to be all over the place.
Yep.
One of the things that I tell people is you need to address the essential elements of information, what the buyer or decision maker is looking for, right?
Yep.
Don't just throw pretty words out there and sell sunshine. This is it's a whole new world, right? So you need to, Nemo, right? As the movie would say, that you need to look at, I would start brushing up on something that I practice, which is Six Sigma. And we have a DMAIC framework, right? We like to define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Well, guess what? That framework right now, within the context of everything going on with Doge, is perfect for you to look at things because you start defining, measuring, analyzing, and telling them how you're going to improve and control things with metrics. So a structured, measured approach and a coherent marketing strategy for your communications will help you make the difference and stand out. Believe me, every other person will be glossed over when they look at your marketing materials because they will make a difference. Now, you're not going to get a contract based on a capability statement alone,
right?
But I will guarantee you this: you will get that meeting because the chances of getting that meeting are very higher, much higher than the average person because they're going to see structure, they're going to see someone that did their homework. And that really tells them that you value their time. And to me, that's a good signal to receive when you're a purchaser and you're looking at source vendors, right? So that's important. So it tells them, hey, look, I care enough about this to do the research, to put in the work, and to present myself in a professional, button down manner. Yep. That's important. That's very important. And you can do that. You don't have to spend all the money in the world. I show you how to get that done with less money, but with a high quality product, which is what you want to present. You don't want to present a non-conformant product. You don't want to present a deficient product. And we happen to know a thing or two about that because just in the last 3 years alone, I mean,
you happen to know a little bit. I want to call that out in a second, but let's ask this question. Do you have your marketing Trump ready? Because if it's not Trump ready, guess what? You're not going to win because the new administration is running things differently. So that's the other thing. And just out of curiosity, you just won something last week that I want to call out. What did you happen to win last week, Dr. Rafael Marrero, the Colonel?
I won my 4th Academy Award in the category, and it's called the Communicator Awards, and they're issued by the Academy of Interactive and Visual Arts. So this is the Academy Award that honors excellence in strategic, effective, and meaningful communication. That's the description. We won a gold trophy for our work, and I was the executive producer in one of the recent documentaries that we did on veterans and PTSD, and that's one of the campaigns one of the causes that I champion a lot. But our work has been throughout the last 4 or 5 years, particularly, it's caught fire. We've won, like I said, 4 Academy Awards. We've won awards for storytelling. We've won awards for design, creativity, and product efficiency. So I strongly suggest you give us a shot and give us a try, because I will tell you, you're not going to find another business to government marketing firm that can explain it to the government the way we do.
And I just want to say, like, having seen some of Rafa's work, it's not just about capability statements or that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if you have, a GSA contract or something, he can do great work with there, where everyone else has like Excel spreadsheets or whatever.
Yeah.
Rafa and his team can create like very visually appealing catalogs, even explaining every single thing. So instead of like just a quick NSN number or whatever, right, and a government description, and if you know what I mean by government descriptions, those are horrible.
Yeah.
He can actually explain what it is, not only what you're selling, but why you over someone else.
Mhm. Yeah, we create these beautiful catalogs of products, and you should check them out. I mean, they're really upscale, very, very well done.
And we'll be talking about that this Thursday.
Yep.
Let me go grab that for everybody if they would like to come.
Strongly recommend that anybody who can make it be there, because you're going to get well above and beyond the price of admission. I'm going to give you a good return on your investment. I guarantee that. We're going to bring my A game here.
Yep. Because if we're not relevant, go ahead, Peter.
I was going to he just mentioned the price of admission. Raphael, I'm going to make a baseball analogy. Raphael is going to get you into the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then with all of our knowledge and everything that we can bring together, we're going to get you on a field box right on the field. Raphael will get you to the ball game.
That's it.
I used to buy as a kid, I used to buy the outfield, go in, I'd end up on the field, on a box. And that's exactly if I can make that analogy.
Love it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because we got to be relevant. If we're not relevant, we can't. They're not even thinking about us. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say this real quick. For making yourself relevant, we also use GovBrief to reach Govies. Mm-hmm. You can be relevant now. Get yourself out in front of them. Nikita, you just did this last week, right?
Absolutely.
And what happened?
We had 39 new people that we are able to reach out to directly that joined from the comfort of their office that we could try to go into and now see personally and schedule meetings and get things moving forward in a very niche market.
Yep. Mm. And you can see that on demand. It's for free. And this is an overview. Let me just look it up here. See if I can find it. The overview. Oh, man.
I just saw her.
Where are we? Here we go. Interagency briefing overview. If you'd like to check out what GovBrief is about.
Yep.
Reaching Govies, as I affectionately say. You can find that out there because we want you to be able to reach those stakeholders. Make sure that you're being able to influence the opportunity before it hits the street, because if you're not, your competition is. And I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to see if you guys need any additional professional help. We're going to get you guys out of here in just a minute. Wait a second. Let me see.
Yeah,
I like professional help. You can answer that. I want to give a shout out to Sally White, who is not here, but always makes her presence known. Right, Peter Timmis?
Absolutely.
She's a rock star. Todd Crane helping people with the cybersecurity components. You do outsource cybersecurity, right, Todd?
Absolutely. We, especially with all, the regulations, we really help people. Rafa talks about looking the part. We make sure that they are the part.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Making sure they pass all those things. Denise B. Lawrence wasn't with us today, but she helps folks with for-profit grants. She also does RFP and RFI writing. If you need somebody to help you with that, you can check that out. You can also check out Denise B. Lawrence on her for-profit grants. She does this on a regular basis. We're going to pull one out probably in the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks, I think. She'll be back on, but you can find out about for-profit grants. That means the government will fund you as a for-profit entity to be able to build things and come up with new things. Peter Timmis, thank you very much for joining us. He is the rock star when it comes to funding. If you need funding for your organization, they understand exactly how that works, don't you, Peter?
Absolutely.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. And we do have Nikita here too, and Nora Bashor. She helps folks with with AI and writing proposal in AI. And Nikita helps. She just out of the kindness of her heart did the thing the other day. And I appreciate her always. The sam.gov opportunity, I'm doing that at 1 p.m. So if you're glutton for punishment and want to listen to me for a little bit longer, you can join me at 1 p.m. Highly recommend that you reach out. And if you want to reach Govies, you want to be the subject matter expert, just like Nikita was. And we do have a call out for experts and panelists. If you would like to showcase what you do and your expertise to Govies, send a message at support@govbrief.us, and we will make sure that you get on the schedule. There you are. There's Voltron's, it's Nora Bashor's Voltron thing. So I appreciate you always, Nora. Great insight. Great stuff. Rafael Marrero, see you on Thursday for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then I do have Brian Hebel, who wasn't here. He's a former contracting officer and has written a couple of books. His latest one is on CPARs. So if you'd like to learn more about CPARs, you can check that out. He just about melted down the Monday roundtable the one time talking about how he chose his NAICS code. What did he say, Rafa?
Oh, yeah. He says, I don't. And that's when I said I wanted to come across the screen and drop kick him.
Yeah. But he said,
you want to talk about being glutton for punishment, a book on CPARs.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So again, you can reach out. You can see Todd on GovBrief. I already mentioned this. Join me at 1 p.m. We'll get you guys out of here. I do want to answer a couple last minute questions for folks because I saw a couple things in here. Let's see.
A lot of people were asking for contact information.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So let me plot my contact information out here as well.
I just pasted mine also. So there it is.
Here we go. I'm going to do this whole part. I'll say that. Let me find it. I'm looking for it, ladies and gentlemen. I promise. Here we go. Here's what I normally put out there. You can find us here, all these places. Feel free to reach out. We all love to do it. Let's see. Is anybody got any last minute questions before we jump, or last minute comments for how to help folks? Let's see. We did products and supplies. Did the non-in-scope. Robert says, I need to speak to Peter. We have a several $7 million award that needs to be financing. Love that. Very good. Make sure we'll get that to you. Cindy says,
can I throw something in there, Dave, real quick while we still have people?
Yep.
If you're struggling to reach out to people who you think would be a decision maker in what you're doing, take that list, schedule a call with Dave and his team. Okay, that's what my company did. We had over 500 contacts. We were able to submit those to Dave and his team. They were able to actually broadcast to them as well as his own internal contacts to get us people on board to actually talk to. And these are people who we've been doing this since 2021. We have tried to get meetings to, tried to get things. We had 2 people who were active in the chat who we've tried to get meetings to, that they are now sharing our video with their procurement team to try to push this forward. If you have any doubt of what GovBrief can do to reach the Govies internally, and it is free to them, do it. Just schedule that meeting. My boss was floored at the fact that we had such a big turnout.
Yep.
I mean, Dave got us all to show up here, right? I think we had over 70 people at one point.
Got me out of bed. Right.
So it clearly works,
Yeah. So that's GovBrief is where to go for that. Please, if you're, I cannot stress how important it is to get to the key decision makers. Always buyers on one side. That's what we did Sam Radar for, to reach buyers, but the program managers, that's GovBrief. So feel free to reach out. My information's right there. I'll pick up the phone, call me. If I'm not on a session, which I will be at 1 p.m. today, talking about sam.gov, we'll help you get there. I promise you, we do the same thing that we did for Nikita. We do it all the time. We've driven over 800 key decision makers this month.
Wow.
800. So there you go. Just saying. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I love this team that we got together. I appreciate you guys joining me. Rafa, thank you, sir.
Thank you for the invite.
Peter, thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Todd Crane, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm going to see you on Thursday and Friday. I'm going down to Nashville.
Absolutely.
Nora, as always, you are awesome with everything that you bring up. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Nikita Van Kirk, we're gonna get you on camera next time, pictured up, and we'll get you. We'll start.
We all struggle with technical difficulties. I do apologize. So
That's all right. It's okay. Love it. Love your insight always, and thank you for the plug for GovBrief. You guys have a great rest of the month. We'll see you next month, second Tuesday of the month, and we'll be talking about how we win those last minute contracts. Sound good, Rafa?
Absolutely.
All right.
Nice shirt, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice shirt. It says Sam Radar, by the way.
Oh, nice logo.
Just in case you're wondering, it says Sam Radar. All right. See you guys.
Yeah.
Ringo.
Yeah.